สวัสดีค่ะ Good morning ladies and gentlemen, and right now you are stay here at the outset at the Startup Thailand 2019, and of course today is the last day for this event, and of course right now for this place with the District C is a new place, and of course this is a very important place for the new startup in the Thailand, because this is a best place is a non-stop service for provide the benefit service for all the startup in the Thailand. And right now in the morning session right here, we have the very important person to be here to discuss and to share for you with about the experience and talking about the with the topic Asia Innovation Ecosystem as well. And first of all, before we starting, we would like to welcome for the very important person to be here to give an opening speech. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, if all of you ready, please give a hand together for welcome Mr. Hang Huang, please, for the Asia Pacific Accelerator Network, please.
Okay, thank you. Really honored to be here. I think this is the first AN Overseas Innovation Forum. Truly appreciate Nasta, Charles, and Sasani co-organize this event. I think the platform actually been designed not just for networking, actually designed for really the business collaboration. So actually, the platform actually, if I talk back a little bit history, actually on the 2013, under the APEC, there's an initiative program that we should do the accelerator program because we have the incubation in the past. The thing had been running for a few years, or maybe 20 years. But then the thing needs to be pushed up a little bit. So that had been approved by the APEC, say, okay, let's do a little bit push in terms of identify who really seriously engage the business so-called model and try to really help the so-called startup to go overseas. So the network had been built after a few years. So we kind of keep networking. And then we see, because of the business is not quite easy. It's easy to say, okay, let's go global. But very challenges because we talk about unfair advantage, right? So if you go overseas, who you really know, how you're going to develop the business. So then if you know somebody who really can help you, engage the regional, it's called unfair advantage, right? So that you can go to Thailand, if you know NASDA, they can really help you. If you come to Taiwan, the IPS can help you. If you go to Hong Kong, the Hong Kong Science Technology Park can help you. But then with some mechanism. So the network, not just the network, need to build a mechanism as well. So I think we have been successfully actually collaborate with there's among the members, like for example, the Thailand, the NASDAQ we have been built because they know the corporate, they know the business. So we have to try to identify the startup, come to Thailand. Same thing for the Singapore. I think Singapore Atmos, they actually help to identify the team. I think they are right now in the lifestyle, not the smart city no more, right? So they get a little bit further on that. So it's like more to try promote this the whole thing. That of course Japan, the very so-called consolidate in terms of corporate relationship. I think that's very key because of the Tokyo. I would say Fukuoka, the Japan is quite big. So if you really don't have a so-called influential partner there, it's really hard to build the relationship or the business is. So I would say the platform has been designed, especially today. We have all the overseas partners to be here. And to share who they are, and then how they really can make a difference, how they can really help you. And among the members, we try to find out the mechanism. Maybe the business model, so we can really help. So I mean, Thailand is having changed significantly. The menu here is so great, right? So I think probably it's the most different as compared to the other habit that we have been through, right? So it's most like flat. So many people, so many booths access together, and there's like mix of everything here. So it's very sophisticated the way I see it, right? So I think especially the environment here, we're kind of very close to each other, and so hopefully today's forum we can actually have more interactions, and then we have a strong panelists from all the regions. They're going to share what we are doing and what they are doing and how they can help you. So again, thank you very much, having this, and hopefully you have a wonderful event.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Han Huang, the chairman.
We have the award, right? So we'd like to give the trophy to the hosting country. So can you bring that to us?
Okay, right now it's time to congratulations.
So
Right now, please give a big hand together for welcome Mr. เฉลิมพล ตู้จินดา Vice President of Nation Science and Technology Development Agency NASDAQ Thailand to be here, please. And so for another one, so please give a big hand together for welcome.
I need to say a few words, right? This is dragons. Dragon means the prosperity and the promotions. And so we hopefully Thailand can get much stronger and better in the future. Thank you.
Yes, and for another one, please welcome Miss Sansani Huop Sombun, Director of Technology Business Incubator NASDAQ Thailand to be here, please. Congratulations with this award for the award to the host country. Thank you so much. Thumb up, please. Okay. So right now, for the Thailand with Mr. เฉลิมพล and Miss Sansani to give a souvenir to Mr. Hang Hong again. Yes, it's cool. Okay, all right. Thumb up, please. Thumb up. Okay, good. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Congratulations with the award to the host country. And all right now, please take the photo group, please, to here together. So right now, please give a big hand together for welcome Mr. Peter Mark, Head Incubation Programmers at the Hong Kong Science and Technology Part and Corporation to be here, please. Please give a big hand, ladies and gentlemen. And so for the next one, please welcome Mr. Michael Lin, CEO of the IAPS Taiwan, please. Center of Industry Accelerator and Partner Strategy, NCTU. And so for the next one, please welcome Mr. Toshihiro Kijihara, CEO Startup GoGo Japan. For the next one, please welcome Mr. Esmas Neo, Managing Director and Founder SER Actionos Singapore, please. CEO Action Community for Entrepreneurship. And so for the last one, please welcome Mr. Tang Huan, Co-founder and CEO of InnoLab Asia from Vietnam. Congratulations for all. This is for the group. That is me, the Startup Thailand and Startup around the world. This is have the good relationship as well. Okay, all right. 3. Okay. Congratulations for all, and of course, congratulations with the award to the host country for this time as well. Congratulations, please closer. Smile. Okay, for more shots, thumb up. Thumb up, please. Good, awesome. Thank you so much. And so right now for this time, Mr. เฉลิมพล and Miss Sansani will give a souvenir to our speaker for this time as well. So the first of all, please give the souvenir to Mr. Hang Huang, Chairman of Asia Pacific Accelerator Network. So please give a hand, please. And so for the next one, give a souvenir to Mr. Okay, let's take that for the good first. This is a very, very cute doll. Unicorn doll. This is a mascot for the Startup Thailand 2019. This is very cute. Okay. And so for the next, please give the souvenir to Mr. Peter Mark. Anyone, please give a hand, please. Congratulations. All right. For the next, give the souvenir to Mr. Michael Lin. Please give a hand. Thank you. For the next one, give a souvenir to Mr. Toshihiro Kijihara from Japan. Please give a hand, please. Congratulations. For the next one, give souvenir to Mr. Atmas Nia from Singapore. Please give a hand, please. It's very cute. Okay, and for the last one, give the souvenir to Mr. Thang Nguyen from Vietnam. Please give a hand, please. Okay, all right. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, please give a hand once again, please. Thank you for all for a good relationship and a good collaboration. So please take a seat, please. Thank you so much. And so right now, ladies and gentlemen, for the Startup Thailand, this year is 2019, and of course, anyone you can follow us for more the information at our fan page Facebook for the Startup Thailand 2019 or the Startup Nation 2019 as well. Today is the last day for this event, and so right now for this time, this is a great time for the speaker from the many countries around the world are coming to share the experience and the good topic for you. And so for the first in the morning session, we're talking about the topic is Asia Innovation Ecosystem. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, please give a hand together for welcome our first speaker, Mr. Peter Mark, Head Incubation Programmers at the Hong Kong Science and Technology Park and Corporation from Hong Kong, please. Please welcome. For the next speaker, please give a hand together for welcome Mr. Michael Lin, CEO IAPS from Taiwan Center of Industrial Accelerator and Partner Strategic NCTU, please. For the next one, please welcome Mr. Toshihiro Kichihara, CEO Startup GoGo Japan. For the next one, Mr. Edmas Neil, Managing Director, Founder SEA Axnosh, Singapore, CEO Action Community for Entrepreneurship, please. For the next one, please welcome Mr. Thang Nguyen, co-founder and CEO of Innolat Asia from Vietnam. And so for the next one, please welcome Miss Sansini Huop Somboon, Director of Technology Research Incubation, NASDAQ Thailand, please. Okay, sorry. And so for the next one, please welcome Mr. Chalermpol Tujinda, Vice President of Nation Science and Technology Development Agency, NASDAQ Thailand. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, please give a hand together for warm welcome our moderator, Chairman of Asia Pacific Accelerator Network, Mr. Hang Huang, please. And so right now for today's morning session, let's talking about the topic Asia Innovation Ecosystem. So please welcome, let's enjoy. Thank you.
Okay, I think welcome to this section. The moderator is supposed to be Andrew. Andrew right now is in Moscow, so he really cannot make it. It's hard to connect him. But I will try to host the sections. I think the very important is the Asia Innovation System. I think they're all different. They have very unique, and they all have the unique value. So I would like to give all the panelists 5 to 10 minutes, whatever that you'd like to elaborate what your ecosystem is first. So maybe how about we start with Charles? Yeah.
Hi, good morning. Okay. I think looking for Thailand, I think we have come a long way, as you mentioned this morning. I think I myself involved in this incubation and startup since 2011, right? At that time, it's nothing. So I think the last 3 or 4 years has been very well picked up because of the thanks for the Ministry of Science and Technology has putting a lot of money in driving these Startup Thailand events and then getting people together because in the previously Thailand very much focused on Thai ourselves. So we just put money into Thai, but not really look around getting other people to connect. So I think Startup Thailand is a very good event where the first year we had about, we were thinking about having 12,000 people to come to our events, but at the end we had 35,000. Second year 45 and 55, 65. I'm not so sure how many this year, right? That's showing the growth and interest of not only for Thai, but also we see a lot of foreigner coming into Thailand to our events. And that's a good sign because if we talk about the innovation, a new era of where the business is going, it's about connecting people, connecting business. And that is where Thai are going, I think. And the program has been spearheaded by Ministry of Science and Technology, which now is merged into Ministry of High Education and Science Technology Research something. Right? It's very, very long one. So we merge Science Technology Ministry with the higher universities ministry. So that will be even a good sign for technology, because the past few years we see a lot of applications, software applications, but there's not so much on deep tech. So by merging this, we hope that Thailand might go into more deep tech. So we get about 30 state universities, the government related. So they all have research center. So if we can really bring that research center out into the business, into access easier, it would be good. So I think that is something that Thailand is going. We're talking about deep tech because we see that applications today will be just a touch of the iceberg. But if we don't go into deep tech, because digital is more like how to get to connect, but it's not a real content. So, but back into NASDA. So NASDA is standing for National Science Technology Development Agencies. We are the major research center of Thailand. So we have 4 research centers. We have material science, we have biotechnology, nanotechnology, and electronics. And we have technology management center, which is where the supporting role. We have about 3,000 some people. 2,000 of them are researchers and people in the lab, so we can plug in a lot of things out from our lab. So that's something that NASDA has also seen that opportunity. So this year we create a program called NASDA Startup. So we want to spin off our researcher and having this business incubation center as one of the key drivers to help them to really get from that into the startup. So that's something that we're doing. So Thailand, we are very much kicking and trying to drive into this area, and we work very hard in connecting a lot of countries around here. So these are at least our close friends. We also have friends far away but still close. So I think, just to say, the ecosystem is growing, and I think we are going to the right directions. And we are not going to go alone. We want to go with our friends and making sure that the real value is creating something for a better world. Because I think a lot of startups think about how can they make a lot of money. I think that is wrong start. If anybody comes to start say, I want to make money, they should go sell something else, right? You know what? But if you want to come in and want to change the world, you want to make a better world, to make 1 million or 2 million, 3 million people to have a better living. And then once you succeed that, the world will reward you with all the cash or the money, whatever it is, then that would be a byproduct. So I'm urging that people look into not making money of it because you will cut corner, but make a change to this world and then you'll be rewarded. So yeah, let me just start from there because otherwise there's many people to talk.
Okay, thanks. The Tom.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Hope that you are still awake. So my name is Thang. I've been involved in startups since 2013. So before that, I worked for the government, I worked for the corporate, and I start a few companies. So I don't call myself at that time as a startup founder, but I call myself as a business owner. And I did it quite well, so I earned quite good money, so I can invest. But then I see that if the startup founder, they don't have the mindset of value driven, and they can make bigger impact, so money cannot follow them. And when we start sharing that kind of strategy and we share that value to people, then a lot of people approach me to ask me to mentor. So I fly around Asia to mentor startup, help them to raise the money. And I'm the mentor for Startup Chile. So that's helped by the Ministry of Economic Affairs of Chile. So then I, together with my co-founder from Australia, so we founded Innovation Lab, InnoLab Asia. So at first we do it from the private sector and we just support the startup with our resource, with our network. Then one day, the Ministry of Science and Technology seeing that, okay, this one doing quite well. So let's endorse them as an implementation partner for urban innovation and innovation in Vietnam. So we are one of the key implementation partner to foster the innovation ecosystem toward 2025. So that's why with all the project from the government, we are one of the advisor, so which is good, and we are the execution partner too. So what we are doing in Vietnam, so we try to help the startup to grow more faster by increasing their pitch, incubate them by providing mentorship, network, fundraising. So beside that, we also advise the corporate where they have the resource, but they don't know how to talk to the startup, where they are technology driven and they fast growing. So this kind of technology can help the corporate to find a new core business. So for us, it's more like if we're talking about the innovation, so we should talk on the renovation, innovation, and disruption. Because for renovation, you are just the one who steal the share from your competitor, and it's just you don't create the new pie. And for innovation, you are the one who actually trying to expand the market, expand the industry. So for innovation part, it's nice, but it's not enough. If you want to disrupt the market, you want to create a new industry, you have to find a way where you collaborate between all of the stakeholders and together from the institution, government, startup, and the accelerator. So together, even our foreign partner too, together with the resource, we can find a lot of things interesting together. And that's how the new market will be formed. Let's take like a example for the the ride-hailing company. So they expand in two different markets. So they are not just a hailing app anymore. They are super app. They have finance service. They have food delivery. So in the past, in Vietnam at that time, we are one of the people that support Grab to explore the market. At that time, the traditional taxi business, they look at app and say, no, you guys don't really understand this market. We are doing fine in this taxi industry for years. So how can you do it? So this kind of disruption technology is something that create a new market for people. And we trying to do it by support the young talent. We help the startup, and we help the corporate to connect and talk more and share more of their problem. And we advise the government how they open and share more for the policy, so it's easy for the startup to jump on the market. So that's from our side.
Great. I mean, Charles, from the government agency point of view, you should build a success story and earn the trust from the government, right? Good.
Yeah.
So, Amos, what's your example then?
Right. Hello, everyone. Very good morning. It's my honor to be here. AAN, I think I first participated in AAN in 2015, if I'm not wrong, right, in Taiwan. So very happy to be continued part of this network. Today, I represent two organizations. The first one is Acri Innovation that runs a Sea Anchor program. Acri Innovation is more like angel venture building company. We look at startup in a certain vertical that we are interested in, and we coach a startup and eventually invest in them. The second organization that I represent is Action Community for Entrepreneurship, which I head is as an ecosystem developer for Singapore. So we are the community manager for the Launchpad at One North, which is the most densely congregated area for Singapore for the startup ecosystem over there. Under our membership, we have about 800 startups and a network of about 25,000 regionally. So I see it from two perspectives. Of course, as an investor myself, it's about whether startup or innovation is about value creation for the investor, right? So we'll look at pushing the startup, not just for the interest of creating a business, but then how do you deliver returns for the investors, be it in whichever industry that they work in. Well, as an ecosystem developer is quite different. When we look at it, then we must look at the larger perspective. What does innovation means to Singapore and to the region? To Singapore is quite straightforward. It's about how do we attract more investment into Singapore, anchor large companies in Singapore, and also various investments and talents, right, and job creation. So maybe I talk from the ecosystem point. Singapore ecosystem has been going various type of changes since 2014 when we started the Launchpad. We have a lot of different programs starting from acceleration, where we build early stage startup, to corporate accelerator, where corporates work with the accelerators to invest in early stage startup. And after that, move on to corporate innovation programs, like what my colleague here has mentioned, that the corporates are looking for a more mature company to co-innovate with and to be able to go to market to solve some of their clients' problems. So these are the areas that we are interested in, because in Singapore, we have moved on from just attracting foreign direct investment into Singapore, but more anchoring the innovation labs in Singapore to attract more innovation capabilities. And I think what Charles has mentioned also is that we have invested a lot in blue sky research. We have a lot of research institutes in Singapore, like A-STARS, and also the universities. But the problem that we face in the earlier years is that a lot of researchers do not spin off their company, and they just interested to be continue to do their research work. Business is not something on their mind. So a lot of research being stuck in the schools and in the labs. It cannot be commercialized. But when we talk about innovation, it's about overall value creation. How do you translate inventions into value? And that's where we want them to be paired up with the entrepreneurs to be able to commercialize some of this technology. And by using the technology, at the end of the day, is how we better service the people. Be it B2B, be it B2C, at the end of the day, is about people. Even for Smart City, it's about how we better the life of the people living in the city. So at the end of the day, we want to look at how we can use technology to solve problems. Right? Regionally, I think we are at a very exciting phase. The whole region is very vibrant now. Thailand, great place now, right? With a true digital park anchoring all these programs over here. Indonesia growing very, very well. Vietnam also very, very vibrant right now. So I think it's very exciting. In total value creation, I think Southeast Asia is going to be the next phase of super growth exponentially. Also, of course, Singapore is an aging population, but Southeast Asia population is very young. And the internet and mobile penetration rate and adoption rate is very high. So a lot of opportunities here, and we are looking towards working across the region with everybody to create a value for the region. Yeah.
Great. Sounds very sophisticated process right now, right? So let's look at the Starco from Japan, Kishihara-san. Yeah.
Yep. May I use presentation material? I'm Toshihiro Kishihara from Fukuoka, Japan. Fukuoka is the west side of Japan, and recently a very vibrant city for startups. And let me introduce current environment of startup ecosystem in Japan. Open innovation is becoming a buzzword. Japanese problem is that most Japanese companies dislike change, and they are conservative. The fourth industrial revolution is disrupting almost every industry in every country, and all industries must adopt digital transformation. And that's why big companies are seeking for collaboration with startup. That means open innovation. Many corporate accelerator programs in Japan, even Toyota and Tokyo. Tokyo is a railroad company, and Asahi Shimbun, it is a newspaper, and MUFG is a bank. They provide acceleration program, and I introduced Fukuoka. Why Fukuoka is best city when entering the Japan market? Disappear. Oh, okay. Okay. In 2014, Fukuoka City was designated as a national strategic special zone, as a global startup and job creation zone. This content is deregulation and reduced tax rate and startup visa and one-stop information desk. And in 2017, incubation facility, startup growth, Fukuoka Growth Next was established. What Startup Go can do for overseas startups? We held first event 5 years ago, and we continued startup events, and we provide acceleration program, and this year, April, we found our new venture capital, GX Partners. About Startup Go and GX Partners, Startup Go is a startup community based in Fukuoka. The first event was held in October 2014. Since then, we have been holding a variety of events and programs in every month. GX Partner is venture capital that invests for seed early stage startup found in April 2019. This is a partner. I'm a CEO, and Nakahara-san is a COO, and also managing partner, Terai-san, over there. Please stand up. And this is our last year's event, Startup Go 2018. 37 startup pitch, over 1,000 attendees from Taiwan, Korea, and Hong Kong. Our venture capital, GX Partners. GX Partner is venture capital that invests for seed early stage startup founded in April 2019. Fund size will be US $20 million until March 2020. Many large local companies invest in this fund. Their purpose is to collaborate with startups. We invest an average of $0.2 million US per startup. We also invest overseas startups. Thank you. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So I think it's great that they finally have their own fund for investment, get more proactive action. How about Michael? So what have we done for the past few years?
Yeah.
From Taiwan,
I'm Michael from Taiwan. And right now I'm working for the Center of Industry Accelerator and Patent Strategy in National Jiao Tong University. And my first job related to the incubation industry is about 2001. So I joined the E3 Incubation Center. And after 5 years, I quit the E3, joined to the National Jiao Tong University under Dr. Huang. So at that time, we were running an incubation center. And after 5 years operation, we found that we have to do something different from the incubation. So we built up a accelerator in our university. And also the first university type accelerator in Taiwan. So we create a new model to facilitate the startup company in Taiwan. And fortunately, we got the award from the UBI. So we got a very high grades about the UBI ranking, maybe the top 7 in the world. So we have done a lot of work for facilitate the startup company. And talking about the AAN, Asia Pacific Accelerator Network, this concept is coming from the APEC meeting in 2013. So at that time, the Taiwan representative launched a platform in the APEC meeting and also got approved by the APEC. So we carry this project since 2013. And so we invite several Asian countries, including Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, to join our platform and also have a regular meeting, annual meeting in Taiwan. So this is, I think, the first time we moved Taiwan to Thailand, and that will be happy. And this platform, we try to link the investors, try to link the incubation accelerator institution, and also a startup company together, and they can share the experiences. They can find out the new opportunity in different countries. So in last few years, we facilitate several collaboration, including we send teams to Thailand, we send a team to Malaysia, Singapore, and also Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand teams come to Taiwan. So I think that's a very, very good interaction between different countries because the staff can learn the cultures, they learn how to do business in different countries. So I think that's very important for the young entrepreneurs. And right now I'm in the Center of Industrial Acceleration and Patent Strategy. We are doing several different things. Besides, actually we have a space and we also provide a mentorship. And we also have services to connect the corporate and startup company. Just the Edmund mentioned and Kishiyama-san mentioned that the corporate is trying to looking for the potential startup company. So in recent year, we are put a lot of resources in find out the mechanism between the corporate and startup company. Unfortunately, we have some result between the corporate and startup company in this year. So we very successful push the startup company and corporate company to make a collaboration, and they also have very, very good business collaboration. So I think in Taiwan, we have a quite comprehensive ecosystem for the startup company. From space, from mentorship, from funding services, and even from the soft lending program. So I think I should stop here and later I will introduce more about Taiwan.
Okay, great. I think the last time we have a dinner with Peter, I think there's a dramatic change in Hong Kong. So I'd like to hear what the detail more about the Hong Kong change.
Thanks, Hank. I have prepared a PowerPoint. Hank is absolutely right. We experienced very major change in Hong Kong in the past 3-4 years. Maybe not a lot of you see us from Hong Kong, right? Because we are very famous as a financial center, as a logistics center, but never as an innovation and technology center, but things really change. So, I mean, this first slide is actually in the center of Hong Kong Science Park. We like this iconic, we call it golden egg very much, okay? In Chinese, golden egg is something auspicious. Something means the duck or the chicken will lay a golden egg, which means very, very good profit, right? So we're a little bit, very money-minded. That's Hong Kong. But we also do well and do good, okay? We know well, it's not just money, right? So this is the center of Science Park. This is a small auditorium that can house up to 300 people, and it's named after the late Nobel Prize laureate from Hong Kong, Professor Charles Kao, who is the nickname is the father of fiber optics. So, I mean, the basic theory of fiber optics start from there. So, I start with, again, money, because Hong Kong, right? The Hong Kong government has started to put in major resources last year only. So, in the financial year 2018-19, the government has endorsed 50 billion Hong Kong dollars into these few areas. From my right or your left to right, the first 20 billion which is very important. We invest in the first stage infrastructure building of a new science park at the border of Hong Kong and Shenzhen, and we'll collaborate very closely with Shenzhen, right? This is very important development. And we also spent another 10 billion into ITF, which means Innovation and Technology Fund. So we support research, top tier deep tech research. And Science Park itself also received 10 billion for 3 billion for infrastructure. We're now revamping a few buildings into laboratories. We're constructing 5 buildings, and in the coming 2 years, we will have all 5 buildings ready for the coming 2-3 years. And the fourth column, which is the 2 research clusters, I think this is very important among all the initiatives. So this 10 billion is to put into 2 research clusters. The first covering healthcare technologies, followed by AI and robotics. So what we're trying to do is to invite world's leading universities and research centers. Usually we will try to reference to the QS top 100 universities and qualify them to apply for research. This would be commercialization, translational research to be done in Hong Kong at Science Park. And then it could be a very good fit program to our incubation program. We have a whole complete incubation structure to commercialize technology from universities. We have 4 years of very intensive working relationship with domestic universities. So we're very confident now to take care of this part. The translation research plus commercialization is a very key first step for all the tech startups. And of course, we put money into talent development as well as 0.3 billion to our sister organization, Cyberport, who's focusing more on digital economy. So this is 2018 and 2019. And actually, the government doubled that this year. So another 50 billion being pulled into the system this year. So altogether, in 2 years, we received 100 billion from the government. So this is a single most important push for the Hong Kong government. And in the past, we mainly spent time on finding the right position, our core competence to build an ecosystem that could complement partners from different parts of the world. And I think we are ready now. And then this slide is a little bit outdated. We have around 10 government-sponsored universities in Hong Kong, 6 of which are research universities. Research universities mean that they will have a science school, medical school, and engineering school. This is the QS ranking last year, but this is a bit different, right? Last year, we have 4 universities ranked top 100 in the world. This year, 2019, the latest statistics, we have 5 universities ranked top 100 in the world. So this is the only city in the world with such a ranking, followed by London. London has 4 universities ranked top 100 in the world. So the R&D research capability in Hong Kong is actually very, very strong. But actually, in the past 20 years, the government has pulled in a lot of money into the higher education sector with the sole objective to pull the ranking up. The rankings up already. And there are a lot of very good technologies inside the KTO and TTOs. And in the past 2.5 years, we work with all these 6 research universities, and they spin off around close to 300 spin-off projects. And we admit 100 deep tech technologies spring off from universities, from local universities into our systems. So with the funding I just mentioned, the 10 billion to support the overseas universities, I believe we could do a lot in the coming years. Apart from the 6 research universities, we also have 5 government-funded research institutes covering a lot of sectors. Like the first one, the Applied Research and Technologies Institute. In short form, we call it ASTRI. All of them are housed in Science Park. 3 of them housed in Science Park. They're focusing in electronics, ICT, etc. And for Hong Kong regions, more focusing on textile. And so we have all these different technology R&D centers. So this forms, the 6 universities plus this, form the core deep tech R&D infrastructure in Hong Kong, plus the new I&T cluster that I just mentioned. By the end of this year, we will have 17 projects from leading universities overseas to Hong Kong. Already, we have already announced the joint project between the French Pasteur and Hong Kong U, and the Karolinska Medical School is already in Hong Kong. So in the coming year, in 2020, before mid-year, we'll have another 15 universities joining us. So altogether, by the middle of next year, we will have over 30 global top 100 universities land in Hong Kong. And based on that, where's our market? Our market is a global market, but we would like to focusing on one more new focus, which is the Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau, Greater Bay Area. This is very important. The total number of population is close to 17 million, and the GDP is actually the data is a bit outdated, is $1.6 trillion. So it's actually something like similar to Canada or Australia, and it's very comparable to South Korea. So as a region. So in Hong Kong, we are well connected with the Commonwealth or the common law system, common law countries. And in Macau, we get a very strong base to the Portuguese and Spanish-speaking population. And Hong Kong, as we understand, is a financial center. But we also have another financial center, which is Shenzhen. And it also houses the busiest 2 airports and seaports in the world. And Macau is actually an entertainment center that already surpassed Las Vegas. So this is a very interesting areas that we're focusing on. And in early 2018, the central government of China dedicated Hong Kong as China's International Innovation and Technology Center. So I think we would like to work with partners from different parts of the world in this market, and also use Hong Kong as a springboard to the global market. So this is a snapshot of the main science park here. We are now building another 5 buildings here and nearby, because we're almost 100% occupied. So this site is start from the year 2002. So at the present moment, we have 750 companies in Science Park. 300 of them are under various incubation and acceleration program, and we have around 60 multinational corporations reside in this park. So the total working population is 13,000. And out of these 13,000 people, 9,000 of them are R&D people. So this is very heavy concentrate on deep tech. So apart from the main science park, we are also managing another building in downtown called Inno Center. The focus would be on design and fintech. And we're also managing 3 industrial estates. So almost all the manufacturing factories in Hong Kong are within Science Park. So we have 3 industrial estates. From left to right, the Taipo industrial estate is more focusing on food processing industry. I think we could collaborate with you. The Yunnan industrial estate is focusing on pharmaceutical businesses. We have 13 pharmaceutical plants there. And Changguan is one of the, I think it's the second or first largest data center cluster in the whole Asia. So that is the what we're trying to do. Design in Hong Kong, R&D in Hong Kong, and ultimately made in Hong Kong. So in the medium run, we're now having 5 buildings within 2 years. But in the longer run, see the Zone A, which is a place called Lok Ma Chau Loop. This is one of the new border custom clearance areas in Hong Kong. So this piece of land is around 87 hectares, which is 4 times of our existing science park. And across the border, you may you may see that actually Shenzhen River is the boundary between Hong Kong and Shenzhen. So across the A zone, the B and C zone is actually developed by the Shenzhen government. We'll put all this together and form a unified system between Hong Kong and the Greater Bay Area. So this is what we're trying to build, but it should be better, I think. So a few more slides. This is the startup support system. So we cover from all the way from idea to IPO. So our first program from idea is called STEP program. So you don't even need to have a business plan. You don't even need to have a technology. You may have a job. You may be a student. You can join it already. We start to nurture the ideas. And then once you form a company, then you can enter our various incubation program. We have 3 tracks of incubation program covering 2 years, 3 years, and 4 years. 4 years will be life science biotech. The maximum amount of money that you can get from the 4-year IncuBio program from Science Park is 6 million Hong Kong dollars. But if you're counting the government's various program, it could be more than double. For a 2-year program, we'll reside with all these more on ICT, mobile apps, and business development, innovation cases. And for other deep tech, it will be a 3-year program. And once the company become more mature in the growth stage, we'll put them into a program called Leading Enterprises Acceleration Programs. At this present moment, we have 25 companies in the LEAD program. We have around 260 companies in various incubation program. And we have around 100 teams in the STEP programs. So this complete our startup support system in terms of incubation and acceleration. And that's not enough. We focus on 2 major areas. First one is go-to-market. We have a flagship program called Global Acceleration Academies. It is the combination of corporate innovation, corporate accelerator, and go-to-market business matching systems. So we divide all our business partners. At the present moment, we have over 100 business partners from different sectors in Hong Kong and overseas. So we divide all our partners into 8 different vertical industries. So our acceleration cohort is not with one corporate. The maximum number of partners in one of the cohorts is 7 companies in our tourism and hospitality. We get Hong Kong Airport Authority, we get Cathay Pacific, we get hotels, we get Ocean Park, we get Disneyland, all together into one verticals. And after all completion of all these verticals, we will issue our white paper called Spotlight, which is an industry insight report covering or combining technology as well as the market dynamics into it. So we're not just talking about innovation and technology, but we're talking about industry development and applying technology and innovation into verticals. And this is another flagship program called IDM Square. We have 51% of companies in Science Park having hardware. And just across the border, within 25 minutes, we can reach the best factory system in the world. So the IDM Square stands for from idea to design for manufacturing and then go to market. So because we have a lot of very deep tech R&D projects from universities and upcoming there will be a lot of top 100 universities in Hong Kong. So we need a system to help them to make their idea to the market. So hardware production is very important. And we have a 6-month program, and the very first training is not about hardware. It's not about production. It's all about business and marketing. So that's what we're doing. And then in terms of investment, we're very famous in investment. But in the past few years, we have to kick off the angel investment round because in Hong Kong, it's a very mature financial market. So people have all these different asset class lying around. Nobody is willing to invest in the early stage. But after 3-4 years, we start to do it. Last year, the Science Park companies was able to raise $2.3 billion US dollars, which is among half of the total Hong Kong startup could raise. So by far in the 4 sectors that we are covering, including AI, robotics, healthcare, smart city, and fintech. The highest amount of investment that we get is in the AI sector, totally 9 billion, followed by fintech for around 2.3 billion, if I remember correctly, and then smart city and life science. So last but not least, I would like to do some advertisement, 30 seconds. 60 seconds. So, this is a flagship event. I would like to invite you all to Hong Kong on the November 8th. This is statistics from last year. We have engaged over 40 economies. We received 60 applications. We select 100 finalists, 70% of them from overseas, into the elevator pitch. We put them into the tallest building that you can see from Hong Kong. Each of them will have 60 seconds to pitch to investors in Hong Kong. So this is fun, right? Last year, the winner get 190,000 US dollars. So I will stop here and hope to see you all in November in Hong Kong. Thank you.
Great. I think they're very impressive, right? So I see all the camera actually taking pictures of you during your presentation. So I'd like to give the country the opportunity why your ecosystem can attract the overseas the entrepreneur or the staff to your countries. Yeah. So you want to start from Charles then? Okay, all right. Yes.
Thank you. I think startup is a way of life, right? Why people connect, why people go to places, it's just like, is that the place where they maximize their value or maximize their opportunity, right? For Thailand, I see Thailand as a very friendly country. I think with a lot of foreigners here, you probably share the same as come to Thailand. It's not very threatening, it's very easy living, cost of living very good, food's very good, connection, networking, parties. Besides the traffic jam, but we still have other like BTS, other things, right? Besides that, I think it's very, very good cities to be in. But not only that, you can go travel up north in Chiang Mai, go down south, Phuket. There's a lot of pockets of opportunities, and a lot of foreigners been here and there. So I think it's like, if you are in Thailand, spending the same money in Thailand versus, Singapore or Europe, you go a long way. Right? It created business here in Thailand. Instead of doing a couple of months in other countries, you can do a year. And you can achieve a lot in a year. We have about 70, 80 VCs in Thailand. Okay, but the problem is we don't have enough deal flow. So the government now is very much focusing on how we can create a seed capital so that we can turn those ideas into a product, so that the business, so that VC can have something to invest in. So I think we already have like kind of people waiting at the end of the pipeline to buy something or to get something to invest. And then we have, if you look at in these regions, Thailand is very creative in a sense. Okay, we not engineering-wise or maybe financial-wise might not be as good or maybe equivalent to other countries, but look at the creativity is very, very like outstanding in Thailand. So, and also the Thai size of the market is quite big enough, talking about 70 million people, right? And very effective for the technology absorption. So a lot of people come start business in Thailand just to get a long run for their money, also test out the market, because it's big enough to do the pilot testing before deploying to other country. And a lot of people in Thailand coming from different countries, a lot of Chinese ethics, a lot of Muslims and other. So you can really testing everybody, right? And then expand to this region easily, right? And we also center of the region, South Asia. So I think that's pretty much some of what I think it's like a good way of living, a better way of developments, and accessing to other countries very easy, right? So it's not have to be everything all in one place, but we all interconnect, just like AAN.
Yeah. So I think we'll try to position yourself to the Southeast Asia, the region, right? So do you agree that, Tom?
Yes, I totally agree with that. But let me come up with this. For me, the ideal startup team could be I'm gonna hire the designer from Thailand. So I take the IT from Vietnam. The one who can raise the money gonna be from Hong Kong. The guy from Singapore gonna help us to run the operation. And for dealing with logistics and other part, I will take someone from Indonesia. So why we said that? Because for years I've been travel around, and each of the country have our strength and weakness. So in Vietnam, we are really good in math and we are famous for IT tech guy. But the problem with our country is that most of the tech guy cannot communicate in English. So this is some of the issue that we're trying to solve. But in terms of the openness and adaptability, we are quite easy going with that. Have a look at the population. We are nearly 100 million people now. So 67% of them using the internet. And nearly 50% of the population use Facebook. And if you are the tech enabler and you want to join the country where you can penetrate and access to the population easily. So Vietnam is one of the destination, right? So in terms of the investment, so just a few days ago, VN Pay is a fintech startup. Just got the deal with the SoftBank and GIC, and the deal value until 300 million. So this is gonna be the biggest one of this year, and a lot of people are excited. You know, like in terms of the venture, a few months ago we have Vietnam Venture Summit, where we attract more than 200 investors from all around the world, and they have the same concern that why Vietnam is on the global stage now, because a lot of people are interested in Vietnam, but they don't really know what is Vietnam market potential or not, how is the population, and how can they penetrate the market. A lot of questions pouring to us, but we see in that with the talent that we have, with the adaptability and with the young mindset. So most of the young generation, they use smartphone daily. So, and the capital, actually we are near Thailand and we near Singapore. So if you want to raise fund, you don't need to raise in Vietnam. You can come to Singapore or Thailand, you raise from there. But the market is quite huge from Vietnam, and you can easily access with the tech talent. That's why a lot of IT outsourcing from Japan, from France, from the US, they set up from Ho Chi Minh City, Hanoi, and Da Nang, and it's spreading around. And you know, like some company from Singapore, they asked us to refer the tech guy from Vietnam to Singapore to work, and it's happened a lot. And if in the region, as I shared from the beginning, and if you want to look at, you look at the successful case of your startup team, come to Asia, Southeast Asia specifically, and we can form the very cross-culture dynamic team where you can easily access to the region. Thank you.
Okay, good. That's a good point. I like to skip the Emmas first, because Singapore is also like positioned as for the South Asia. Tom didn't mention too much about the Japan and Taiwan, even that finally mentioned about the technology transfer, right? But both countries actually invest a lot in Vietnam, right? So what do you think about the attraction that you can have, or any collaboration that you might have, want to set up? Yeah.
In our case, 1 year ago, we signed MOU with National Taoyuan University, IAPS, and we provide the JAMA program. That is first soft landing program to Japan, Taiwanese startup. And we provide lecture how to adapt Japanese market, your product, and select some Taiwanese startup to Japan, and go visit the several big company, and accelerate the collaborate, and join our pitch contest. And 3 years ago, the Taiwanese startup Golface won our pitch contest. And after that, collaborate with Nishitetsu. Nishitetsu is a railroad company. Not only railroad and buses, not only railroad, but also retail and hotel and other a lot of many services they provide. They collaborate with travel from Taiwanese golfer to Fukuoka. That's kind of collaboration we want to create more. And Japanese big company want to collaborate cutting edge technology. Startup has cutting edge technology, and the Japanese big companies still have a lot of resources, such as capital and human resources and users and liabilities. And we want to use this resource to startup growth, even overseas startups. Yep, thank you.
Yeah, great. I mean, especially I'm the evidence of those, right? So go to Japan, very tough. But people love Japan, but very hard to get in, right? So you definitely need a local partner to help you. But by the way, I would probably just tell you, I also invest the GoFace. Yeah, so thank you for helping them, yes. So how about Taiwan? I mean, any attraction that you think that people, willing to go to Taiwan, do they have an actual opportunity?
Yeah. I think I think that Taiwan is famous by its manufacturing capability. So right now we are doing to help the international stock company to Taiwan to help them to find partners in prototyping manufacturing. And so the government have a program for the international stock company. International stock can apply for the program for the amount about the 1 million NT dollars, and to help them to produce their prototype in Taiwan. So they can find. So in this program, we will help them to find the suitable partners in Taiwan. And IAPS right now we are in the Hsinchu Science Park, so we are have a very good connection relationship with the Science Park partners. And not only the Science Park partners, I think many SME in Taiwan, they have a capability to produce the manufacturing capability. So that's one of the advantage for the international stock company come to Taiwan. And another advantage is that I think Taiwan has a very fair regulation for the stock company to create business in Taiwan. So we appreciate all the intellectual property in Taiwan and business rules in Taiwan. And also you can get the partners and clients within very tiny areas. So Taiwan is not a big island, but we have a lot of resources, and so you are very easy to find out your upstream, downstream client within maybe 1 hour, 2 hours. So that's very easy for the stock company to find their partners in Taiwan. And right now, we are doing another services. We call it a corporate staff engagement. So we also help the staff company to connect with the corporate resources. So you may know that in Taiwan we have huge. Some of the corporate are very interested in doing business with a startup company, but they don't know how to do it. So we are the bridge. We can help them to connect the startup company and corporate, identify the corporate needs, and so we take the startup company into corporate ecosystem to dialogue with the corporate manager to find out the best way to do the business. So I think several advantages in Taiwan can help the international startup company to do business. So I think.
Okay, great. Let's back to Edmonds, right? Because put him the last because of Singapore always put himself as the heart of the Southeast Asia, right? But I see the fast growing of the each regions. So how are you going to handle this? What is a really good attraction as for now as compared to before? Yeah.
Well, the mental model of Singapore is actually quite unique, right? Because we are a very small country, population of about 5.5 million people, and people who are born in Singapore is actually even fewer. It's about like maybe 2.5 million. So we have about 50% of Singapore residents are foreign. Either they are on employment pass or they are PR. So our mental model has always been a very open economy. And of course, Singapore has a few key advantages. One being a financial hub, very much like Hong Kong itself. In terms of finance flow, money flow, is quite easy. The second one is a logistic hub, right? So we have always been playing a role for that. Of course, recently there's some affected because of the trade war. But still, for Singapore itself, we look at not just Singapore, but we look at the region because we know that the market in Singapore is small. Be it for a startup, B2C startup, that you start out from Singapore, eventually the mindset has to be at least minimally regional to expand into Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand. These are the huge markets. And we look at the region as overall of about 640 million people. So this is the market where they can start to look at. For MNCs, which have been working on in attracting them to Singapore for many years now since our independence in 1965, they have always been using Singapore just as a HQ for their regional expansion strategy. So Singapore has worked on a lot on the infrastructure development in terms of both finance and regulatory framework to make it very easy for business to start business in Singapore. It's very clear. The rules and regulations are very clear. So it's very easy to navigate in Singapore. The other thing is that why it's easy to do business in Singapore is because something that is, I feel, a bit disadvantage to Singaporean is that because we are a very open economy, we do not favor Singaporeans company. So basically, we work with anybody. As long as the company can demonstrate value, capability, and ability, then Singapore companies and businesses are very willing to work with anybody. So it's very fair competition ground for businesses to start off from Singapore. But of course, as the region expands, we are looking at more collaborative model. And I like what you say just now, because when we look at teams, we look at diversity. Every country would have talent with certain skill set that will form a very good contribution for the team. Singapore, for many years, we have been training managers and professionals because we have a lot of MNCs and our people work in them. So we are good in the operation processes, SOPs, setting up the rules, and very efficient and effective in execution. But in terms of the agility, this is something that I think Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia entrepreneurs would be better. I think they are very creative. They are very agile in the model. They can change and spin their ideas very fast. So I think the talent in this country will form very good team members. especially like in Vietnam, we are looking a lot of outsourcing of development work to the Vietnam side. Of course, Singapore value add is in terms of the solution architecting and the project management. Indonesia, a lot of expansion into it is about e-commerce, logistic. Of course, in Thailand is I think there's a focus in Industry 4.0 as well, and also agriculture. So these are something that Singapore do not have, right? At the end of the day, we want to market the whole region. So I call it the vitamins. Vitamins of Southeast Asia. Why? V for Vietnam, I for Indonesia, TH for Thailand, and then we have Malaysia and Singapore, right? So very similar to China, we have like Beijing, Guangzhou, all the different 4 major cities in China. They are developing to bring up the engine of China development. So now they are moving on to tier 2. If you look at Southeast Asia as a collective whole, then I think these 4 countries, we will be able to bring off the movement in the region to, to really accelerate the growth in the Southeast Asia.
Great. So I'd like to ask Peter a question, because it sounds like you have a really good size of the operation. But you talk about the size, the population, the $1 trillion involvements, right? So for the South Asia entrepreneur, like to go to Hong Kong or go to the region, will that be easy, or you have a good percentage of overseas company go there, right? Are they mostly from any other region, or what's the suggestion for the South Asia entrepreneur to go to Hong Kong?
Right. Hong Kong is a very international city, and set. It's really it's like twins from Singapore, right? So at this present moment, we have the most companies from Western market, right? With England, US, followed by France, Russia. All of them come, but I think hopefully we can have more Asian countries because of proximity. We should do more together. And the other thing is that we see a gradual shift of gravity of economics from the Western world gradually to Asia, which is, we must grab these opportunities. And in Hong Kong, how can we help the startups? I think there's a few basic observations that I can see. First, Hong Kong has been, for the past 25 years, being ranked by the Heritage Foundation as the freest economy in the world. So that's very important. The second thing is I want to talk about tax. We only have 3 types of direct tax in Hong Kong, which is the personal income tax, property tax because the price is too high, and profit tax. Profit tax capped in 16.5%. And for the first 2 million Hong Kong dollars profit, it's only 8.25%. If you're a tech startup and you will have 300% tax break in the first 2 million profit, and thereafter 100%. And in the first few years, you may not have profit, right? But this tax credit can carry on forever. So I think tax is a very distinct advantage for Hong Kong. Irrespective, the cost of living could be relatively high. And the other support that we could provide is, if the startups able to enter into either Science Park or the Hong Kong Cyberport, then you could have the privilege to recruit 2 local graduates for 3 years for free of charge. And then you could also recruit PhDs from overseas recognized universities. I don't want to define what's recognized universities, ask the government, right? Also for 3 years, PhD level. So that would mean a lot. And for the research grant, there are a lot from market, go-to-market, marketing, etc. But for research granting, one of the programs is called Enterprise Support System, with short form called ESS. So the maximum government would be able to give you this one-on-one matching, right? It's 10 million Hong Kong dollars. So you can finance a 20 million Hong Kong dollars project just by giving half. But if you can complete the project as planned, then for your 10 million side, that could be 70% return to you. So basically, there's quite a number of very good incentives for overseas companies, including Southeast Asia companies, to come to Hong Kong. One of the issues in Hong Kong in terms of cost of living, food is okay, taxi is cheap, right? The public transportation is very good. The only issue would be the apartments, right? But we're building apartments now. And before the apartment building ready, we have a subsidy for companies endorsed by Science Park. So I think this policy and privileges altogether is open to all companies from different parts of the world. What we want is the good tenant, good companies to come to Hong Kong. But having said that, I have to qualify that. We're not going to, and we're not intended to, ask companies from different parts of the world to uproot and bring whole team to Hong Kong. That doesn't make any sense. We would like to support startups and corporates as well as part of the global community. We would like to build companies. I think if we're able to help companies, they will benefit Hong Kong indirectly. If we can work together, it means a bigger strength for us collectively rather than just competition. Competition is everywhere, every day. We need to compete in order to excel. But on the other hand, we also need to work together because all the cities, all the countries, companies, we have our advantage and our shortcomings. We need to leverage on each other rather than do everything ourselves. I think that's the key point.
Yeah, the good environment means competition, right? So if you dare to go, that's the place to go, right? I mean, there's great opportunity. So I'd like to give the audience the questions. Any questions before we run up this section? Any questions from the audience? Any region that you're interested in, so you might have a questions? Okay, go ahead. Can we? Maybe tell us who you are, company.
Yes, my name is Vincent. I have a question. I'm actually from Switzerland.
Okay.
I have a question maybe for all of you. I think you, sir, you mentioned the collaboration between the corporate world and the organization for which you work for, trying to bridge the gap between the startups and corporates. How much is that happening in some of the other countries, and how well is that collaboration working for all of you?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
You can maybe expand a bit more first, and then...
Yeah, I'll give you some statistics, right? We're now working for around 65 corporates. But for all these acceleration programs, when we try to bridge the corporates and the startups, right, we'll try to do it in cohorts. But the cohort is not with single one corporates. It's a vertical. So we will include a few companies, leading companies in that sector to go together, right? Either in the first stage, it would be a procurement process, see whether some technologies already fit their needs. And then the second part is a co-creation. So all the way before that, we'll get all these companies to outline to all our startups the future outlook of their market or their industry and the pain points before we mention that. The figure is that the overall cohort follow-up rate is around 45%. So meaning that after the program, there will be 45% of companies still talking to the corporates. It takes quite some time because our cohorts only range from 1.5 months to 3 months' time. And the adoption rate is around 12.5%, if I remember correctly. And the best cohort is with Bayer, the pharmaceutical companies, is 80% adoption rate. So we look at the result, which is very important. It's not a PR event. It's business matching. So we need to deliver. So, and after each cohort, we will after a vertical a series of cohort, each year we will issue a white paper called Spotlight, putting all this technology input together with the vertical industry insight into that publication and distribute to the relevant industry players, including regulators. So that's how we move on.
Okay, so Michael.
Okay. Right now we are doing the corporate staff engagement (CSE), and I think that it's not easy for the staff company because the corporation has a huge resources, they have huge regulation, and how your small company can engage with them. So in between the corporate and staff company, what we are doing is to identify the corporate demand and also facilitate the staff company to fit in their regulation, to fit in their procedure. So it needs times to do that because each side needs to realize, you need to understand what they can do in the project. So right now we are doing two kinds of engagement. One is to help the staff company to feeding corporate platform. And another model is to facilitate corporate and stock company to collaborate and to create a new business idea. So I think that between the corporate and stock company, we put a lot of resources. So we put a lot of attention to take care of the stock company and corporation. So I think not easy. But right now we have two successful case in Taiwan right now.
Yeah, I think StarGoGo is meant to design for this, right? So I think Kishara-san, you should have a lot of example, right?
In Japan, recently a lot of program collaborate with corporate with and startup. And in our case, three major program we have. For example, one of the program, clip1. clip1 is the biggest printing company in the world. They have a lot of clients, over 20,000 in Japan. They introduce startup services to their clients. That is one of the good example, good relationship with corporate and the startups. Thank you.
Okay, great. Any others to share?
Right. Hello. Right. Okay. Corporate innovation model is actually quite interesting. It has been evolving. I started to drive corporate innovation programs since 2014, pioneering some of the corporate innovation programs. Back then, I was with Infocom Investment, which is part of the investment arm of IDA of Singapore, Infocom Development Authority. So we brought in a lot of accelerator program, but one thing that we looked at was how to bring the corporates and the startup to work together. And during the early stage, the corporate looked at investing in the accelerator, in customizing some of the programs, and reach out to the early stage startup. So we were quite happy. We thought, hey, corporate can provide the domain knowledge, right? Because young startup, young founders might not be able to gain the deep insights of certain problems or certain industry. That provides a very good base for them to tap into the corporate ecosystem and understand the corporate challenges. The other one would be, of course, access to technical knowledge in corporate itself. But quickly, we also realized that the model doesn't work very well, especially for early stage startup. It was good for early stage startup, but the corporate invested into the acceleration program. They do not really want to hold an equity actually, but they were forced into doing that. And by working with the early stage startup, they cannot go to market quickly. Meaning that after the acceleration program, 3 months, 6 months, they are still at MVP stage. They cannot really roll them out to the corporate clients. So corporate feel that it may not be the right model. And we kind of evolved that to corporate co-innovation model, where it is non-equity based. The corporate put up certain POC money, and then they identify more mature startup. More mature startup are not so interested in giving up their equity so easily, but they also want some returns to invest in their effort in working with the corporates. So the POC money is actually quite useful for them to bring in the startup to work with them. Today, the model is still working. We have quite a number of open innovation platforms that encourage the corporate to put in the POC money. The government has a certain program called, we call it a PACT, but in short, it is also help to fund some of the corporate operation costs when co-investing with the, co-creating with the startup to defray some of their project management costs in working with the startup. At the end of the day, the corporate want to see that the startup can go to market with them quickly to solve their customer problem, either to bid for tender quickly, either to create a new business line so that they can go about creating the business. Now, from the other angle, when we look at the corporate, why do they want to do corporate innovation? There are two key reasons. One, access to new technology, new ideas, which may be difficult for them to spin off internally. It could be of competing ideas and competing products to their existing product line, right? So they want to use an external party to build certain capabilities before working them with as a partner or for equity hire. Some of our corporates are looking for investment, strategic investment, like the corporate venture arm. They look at taking an equity stake in the company and then again build the relationship either for entry into new markets. Yeah. But again, we look at the corporates, there are different stages of development. Not all corporates are ready. So I call it the IDEAS model, IDEAS. I for initialization, when the corporates, maybe the senior management start to think about, hey, maybe we should do open innovation. And they're starting to take a look at the ecosystem. D for discovery, they are more engaging now. They could participate in the program as mentors to try to test the ground. And that's where they start to pull people together within the organization to set up the innovation team. But it may not be formalized. It could be just some champions. Then we have the engagement model. Engagement for E, right? They could participate in some open innovation platform, contribute some problem statement to be more in-depth in engaging with the startups. But at the same time, they beef up their capability in building up their innovation team and then try to see how to do this innovation. Because driving corporate innovation is much more than just accessing to the startup. It's about a lot about internal business unit engagement, how to get buy-in from all the business units, and also drive internal change management for adoption. After that, we look at how do you accelerate the corporate innovation internally, and the last one is sustainable innovation at the organization-wide. So different stages would have different depth of engaging with the ecosystem and with the startup. Yeah, so this is how we position that. And of course, different players in the market would have different contribution. We call that the innovation enablers. It could be startup scouters going around, help the corporate scouting for startup for innovation. It could be the consultants who are more involved in designing the program, understanding the whole value chain of the problem solving, right? It could be involved further, designing compensation strategies to involve your staff in innovation programs and so on. So it's much more than just touching base with staff. It's a lot more depth than that.
Edward tend to make it very complicated. So, if you like to go to Hong Kong, Edward is the person. Edmund is the person to involve, right? Tom.
Actually, as Mark just shared what we are doing, so I just share the situation. So the situation in Vietnam is a bit early. So now the MNC in Vietnam, they are open with the corporate innovation. But the Vietnamese corporate, they are not really open yet. So there are just one or two corporate in Vietnam, they are open with the corporate innovation. So we only can help the corporate to talk with the startup community through our events where we get them together. So they can formulate the conversation first, and through the workshop that we run with them, so they can form the idea and they can find a way that they can work together. But basically, we still scouting for the MNC, and the Vietnamese corporate is not really open. So in Vietnam now, we're a bit behind compared with Thailand and Singapore and other countries. So we are still trying to do it, and with the support from the government side, so now it's easy for us to talk with the corporate, especially the Vietnamese corporate. And on the way now, for the Vietnamese corporate, we still negotiating with them and how corporate innovation can add value to their core business and how we can generate the new idea for them and how we can add more value on what they are doing. Yeah.
Okay, how about Thailand?
Yes. I think the corporate and startup are totally different world, right? The corporates are the one who perfection, making sure that they're very good at their production, but margin is very, very thin. So they are trying to squeeze the best out of what they have done. So productivity-wise, is that what they're driving at, right? To get better margin, better return for shareholder. Whereas we look at startup, we just burn money, right? Trying something new, is it failed? That's okay, do it again, burn it again, right? So it's totally different. But then they can work together. In Thailand, a couple of years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, the first corporate group would be the telecom, like what we're sitting today, True Telecom, AIS, DTech, are the one who are exploring this area, and they start doing acceleration, starting incubation, whatever it is, they have different model. And then they learn a lot, right? And I think this building has been part of the learning that True had learned for the past 4 years, and see how to build community and how to see how they can monitoring what's going on easily. I think the corporate would want to look at the startup and see, oh, what are the new things that might affect them? They want to keep a close eye, and either some of the corporate want to invest in startup because they want to have an access into a regularly information of startup, because if they invest every quarter, hopefully they force the startup to have a shareholder meeting or corporate meeting, whatever it is. So then see, oh, I think that will impact us in the next future. So they can go back and change what they do within their organization. Otherwise, they get taken over by the startup. So it depends on what is the purpose of corporate open innovation. Some of them say they really, truly want to, because it's very hard for the corporates to do something new within their organization, because everybody have to squeeze in, they have to be perfection, they have to not fail so much. So have to have external startup to be able to allow them to sell. So corporate set up corporate VCs and CVCs couple of years just to have a new operations. And in the future, if it's something good, they have opportunity to take part and really move their business there. For NASDAQ, we have a couple of corporate that we work with. I think 5 or 6 years ago, we worked with Samat Telecom, Samat Corporation. So we set up a program called Technopreneur Creation. So we get all those new kids, new generation, new gen who want to create something, want to become a startup. We're working partner with Samat Telecom, run this program and doing pitching. So Samat look at the pitching every year and see anybody who's good they can invest in. So that's one of the programs that we do. We're also working one called Panat. Panat is a transporting. They build this bookie and the trucks bookie. And they're looking to how they can improve their logistics. So we run a program with them doing pitching, and they invest like 4 or 5 companies the past year. And we're also working with government saving bank on the food, street food. So looking to how they can improve or how they can interact with the startup and also the people in the ground to help them to improve their technologies or whatever it is in what they do. So there's several ways that corporate could work with startup. But I think it depends on what they want to do. They really want to use that as their foresight, or they want to use that as their next gen, or they really merge it into their corporates. Like for some example, Thomson Reuters in Thailand, they have this information platform. They say, okay, you know what? Any startup who wants to develop financial application using my data, we open the system for them to access. So if that application become very good, they say, okay, let's partner it and then sell it. So it's so many ways of doing it.
Yeah, I think even I said the Emma tried to complicate the case, but that's a real case, right? So I really respect he's a professional in terms of all the detail. But also tell us the startup multi-stage. You want to go to a region, if you are trying to engage a corporate, it's almost not possible, right? So you need to have a regional partner to help you. I think, Michael, we should set up some platform. Whoever like to go overseas, these are the partner you can actually connected with, and they give you the advice. Because if we like to help you, you have most chance to be success in that specific region. That's a very good question. We spent 20 minutes to answer your question. Yeah. So, that's another question. Can we?
Hi, my name is Brandon Tan. I'm from clip1. We are actually a mobile engagement and analytics platform based out from California.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's great to hear all the great exciting programs we have in Hong Kong, Taiwan, Japan, and so on and so forth. But Silicon Valley is something, a force to be reckoned with still, right? We have, we have Tesla, we have SpaceX, reusable boosters, space progress. Everybody is talking about space exploration right now. I mean, I don't see that coming in from Asia anytime soon. Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin is competing with Elon Musk, and Facebook Libra literally rocked the world.
Right.
So I'm just wondering, where are we going to rock the world right now? For Asia, I mean, for our Asian innovation corridor, I call this panel. So are we ready to rival Silicon Valley right now? Or are we still riding their coattails? So where are we right now? Are we ready to go and give them a run for the money?
Okay. Are we ready to go, Peter?
I've talked a lot. You still give me the chance, okay?
You're the
Anyway, I think instead of just competition, I think we compete on a daily basis on all these different economies, right? I think we're talking about collaboration in Asia. Why we talk about that? Because of the proximity of of these territories. If we can work together, there are a lot of synergies that we can see and that we can do better. I mean, for Asia as a whole. But as you mentioned, right, Silicon Valley, US, taking a lead in innovation technology for a long time. And for Asia, I think we just pick up, but we're growing at a very fast speed. Depends on the sector and depends on the comparative advantage. If we talk about things like consumer electronics, electronics payment, or e-commerce per se, we actually say, for example, China leapfrog everyone in the world. For very deep tech science, space science, yes, definitely. I think US, Europe is taking the lead. But in this part of the world, we also start all these various basic research. I think the issue in Asia for me, right, as a locally born in Hong Kong, is the education system and the culture. We are going to change that. Once that could change, that's different. What is the cultural differences? It's mainly education. We focus very much on education. The kids are very hardworking, right? At the age of 2, they already know a lot of things. They attend all these tuition class. So the issue is that the creativity, the innovation part of it may be slightly, I have to say, lagging behind. That's why we need all this government or quasi-government input to help us to build a system, right? But when you're asking, so what's the level when we compare the top tier innovation centers like Silicon Valley, like London in fintech, etc. I think we're picking up very aggressively. So, say for example, we don't have space science in Hong Kong, but there's some in China. Another very fast-growing area is life science biotechnologies. I'll cite one example. I think it's 2018. The New England Medical Journal, which is one of the leading medical journals in the world, each year they will select 10 most influential medical articles from among the world, right? In 2018, out of these 10 articles, 2 are from Hong Kong, the Chinese University of Hong Kong. So we do have in certain area, I think we're on par with the world. And what we're trying to do here in Asia, at least in Hong Kong, we're trying to create a platform, a level playing field platform for global innovators to come to this part of the world, to leverage on our comparative advantage. Say, for example, if you really want to have precision manufacturing, advanced manufacturing, or mass manufacturing, we have all these in Asia, and this is our strength. What we're lacking is certain degree of a very high level innovation technologies, and we need to work with others. I think working together is more important than just competition. Competition is every day. We need to compete so that we can excel. But we also need to work together for human good. It's not just for GDP, even though I like the figures very much. And absolutely, I agree with Charles. We need to do good and also do well to the world. So I think that would be my answer. I really can't really rank. We have all this ranking of global innovation, etc. But I think Asia as a whole is picking up, and I think the ultimate purpose is really to do good and also do well.
Yeah, I agree. Yes. Any others? Yeah, Tom.
Regarding your question, I want to add some of the information. Actually, for the Silicon Valley now, the idea a bit accentuated, and when you talk about Elon Musk, so it's about one industry, and in Asia we have another specific industry that with many issues that we are trying to solve, and which is gonna create a more unicorn in Asia, and with the population, with the openness and adaptivity, together with diversity that we have. So I believe that we have our strength, and together between partnership among the country here, we don't call ourselves maybe the Silicon Valley here, but we call ourselves as a hub for collaboration partnership, where we try more on how we can solve our own issue, and together we serve quite a big population. And with that, in the future, we're gonna have more unicorn. Maybe the technology is not that advanced compared with the US, but we still have our own advantages. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Charles.
Yes. I think Silicon Valley is starting since World War II, where the defense ministry actually put money for them to churn some technology for fight, right? So it's very long history. For this region, we talk about what, 5-6 years. So we come, even 5-6 years, we excel very fast, right? That's one thing. So I'm pretty sure that in the future, there will be something good coming out from our collaboration. The second is because the population in this part of the world, we're not a rich country. So what do? We have to take care of our people to make sure that they are comfortable, right? So a lot of things, technology is about better living, how we can get people to do more with less. So I think once we're taking care of those, make sure people are well-being, access to some technology, have a better living, then we can excel into more luxurious, right? So now I think if we can only making sure that the people within this region are very well-to-do, I think that's better than go to Mars. So that's how I see it. And then from that point on, I think the blue sky.
Okay, good. So any other question? If no, I think we have a very good discussion today, and then thank you all the panelists that give a round of applause. And it's a small gift from the association to all the speakers. It's a pineapple cake from Taiwan. Yeah, so that's the most famous. Yeah. One by
Thank
one.
you so much.
Okay. Do we need to picture?
So now for this
We
time.
don't need to. No, it's okay.
Yes,
Should we
that's
just give?
okay. Yes.
Together, right? So.
Right now, our Shamia from the AAN, Mr. Hang Huang, we give the souvenir to our speaker. Thank you so much for your information, for you give the detail.
Thank you.
Okay, right now is a photo shot. So please smile. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Thank you for anyone. Please give a hand there for thank you once again. Thank you for all the speaker for your information you sharing today. And of course, right now, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to remind from you once again, and please invite from you. Let's come back here on the 1 p.m. for the next topic session. And today is the last day for the Startup Thailand 2019. For more information, you can follow us at our fan page Facebook for the Startup Thailand 2019. Right now, have the great lunch and have the happy lunch together. Please come back around here at 1 p.m. Thank you so much.